Hi crypto devs, Liarco here, and in today's video I want to show you how you can set up your Linux machine, I'm using Ubuntu here, in order to run my ERC721 collection project correctly. Let's get into it. Before I start, please keep in mind that this is a tutorial for beginners. If you're an experienced developer, you might already know how to install all the required software, and you might also prefer other ways of doing it. For example, Linux distributions come with awesome package managers out of the box, such as apt, yum, and so on. But in this case, it's much easier to show people how to use other tools such as brew, so they don't have to deal with different commands or custom repositories in order to get things done. I'm also gonna leave the whole process there, including errors, so you can see what may happen during the setup process. Okay, so this is a brand new Ubuntu machine. Let's install some dependencies first. I'm gonna open a terminal. And we can type sudo apt install, and the two packages that we need are curl and get. I type in the password and I confirm the action. Okay, so now I can open up Firefox or any browser you like. And I'm gonna go to the brew website. So I'm gonna go to the terminal. I paste this command here and I simply run it. It asks me to type return in order to continue. And we just have to wait a bit. Now, any Linux distribution comes with a default package manager, and they are usually great. But in this case, I want to show you something that can be used across pretty much any operating system which is based on Linux. So using Homebrew is gonna let us use the same commands on pretty much any Linux distribution. Okay, so now Brew is installed, but since we're using Linux and not Mac, we have a few more steps to do. We can click on the installation documentation. We can scroll down to Linux. As you can see, it says check out Homebrew on Linux installation documentation. And here, we can find these commands here. You can copy them all together, that's fine. But please make sure you're really copying all the characters here, because it's really easy to miss one or two. Now I'm gonna paste all the commands here and the terminal is gonna run them. Now we can test brew. It works. Perfect. Next step is to install Node.js. And if we go to the Node.js website, we can see that we have multiple versions. In this case, I'm gonna install version number 16, which is the long-term supported version. In order to install a specific version, I'm simply gonna type the package name followed by @ and the version number. Okay, so since we specified a custom version, we have to link that manually. We can run brew link node @16. So now, if we run node version and we spell it correctly, we're gonna get the correct version number. We can also do the same for npm. And we also need yarn. But it says that the command was not found. So, in this case, we have to go to the yarn website, getting started, installation, and here are the commands that we should run in order to enable it. We are using a version which is higher than this, so we can simply run core pack enable. Let's run yarn version again. Awesome. Now let's install Truffle globally. In order to do that, I'm using npm in this case, and I'm gonna type npm i-g. So we're gonna install it globally, and then Truffle. Be patient because it's gonna take some time. In this case, I received an error, and I'm gonna leave it here so you know what it means, but it should not happen because this was just a network connectivity issue, so I'm gonna run the command again. And as you can see, the second run went smoothly. We can ignore these vulnerabilities, they are referring to some dependencies from the Truffle package, but the software was installed correctly. So let's try it out. I type Truffle, dashboard, and it's gonna open up on our browser. So it's working fine. Now that we have all the core dependencies installed, we can take a look at Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna close Truffle with Ctrl+C, and I'm gonna go to the Visual Studio Code website. I'm gonna download the Debian package for Ubuntu. And now I'm gonna open it. It might take some time, but please be patient. And now we can see some information about the package and we can install it. It's gonna ask for the password. And then it's gonna install the package. And it's done. We can close this, and we can open Visual Studio Code. I'm gonna leave the settings as default, and I'm gonna install the Solidity extension. While this is installing in the background, I'm gonna go to the GitHub page for the Ashlip's lab. I open the ERC721 collection project, and I download the latest version. And this is our project. Let's open it inside Visual Studio Code. Open folder. I go to my project folder, and I open it. I say, yes, I trust the authors. And now we can test if everything is working correctly. I open a terminal. I split it in two, so we can work on both the smart contract and the minting tab. And here I'm going into the smart contract folder, and I install the dependencies. And in this one, I'm going to the minting tab, and I can install the dependencies as well. Now that all the dependencies have been installed correctly, we can compile the contract. So I run yarn compile, and this is gonna build all the typings for TypeScript so the minting tab can be run correctly. ArtAd is also gonna ask you the permission to send anonymous data to them in order to improve the software. I'm gonna leave it to true, and it's done. Now on the minting tab side, I'm gonna run yarn dev server, and as you can see, build successful. We can open the minting tab. Of course, we're missing MetaMask here, so it's gonna give us an error, but the app and the whole project are working fine. You should now be able to take a look at the other videos about how to use the project, because from now on, everything should be the same for any operating system. And that's all for this video. I hope this will help you starting your project, and if you have any questions or anything you would like to see in the next videos, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, and bye!